Ladies and gentlemen, the champ is here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to Last Minute Kickout. I'm Pete Titans Creed Nethercoat, joined as always by my bearded companions in crime. One, Mr. Kevin, the Kevin Eva.
Greetings.
And one, Mr. John Turbo Finley.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody indeed. How are you, gentlemen, on this fine evening of recording?
Okay.
I can see you're well prepared for summer there, Kev, with a nice...
I'll tell you what, the other day it was really, really, really hot.
Yeah,
so, yes, I thought I would get a fan in on the basis.
British summer is looming, and therefore we will all be dying shortly.
Absolutely. Before we begin, everybody, a slight explanation of events. You will notice this is the recording for Money in the Bank, and the mentioned on the last show about all the superstar shake-up and stuff like that, that we were going to do like a reaction to it and think, what are WWE going to do? And we'd have a guess as to what they actually meant for various people.
It's a little bit hard to react to it when it goes for a month. Yeah,
we decided not to do it. And incidentally, Greg Khan, who was going to guest on it with us, agrees. Because, they don't seem to know.
No.
So it became rather pointless in us having a go.
Yeah, we tried to do a wild card podcast and it didn't work. Much like wild card. Yeah, it was a thing we tried. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. It'll happen someday. But yes, Mr. John, how are you as well?
I'm doing fine. So other than being mind-boggled by the ongoing events in WWE, how they just keep making things so more confusing and
TV ratings
overblown. Yeah.
I've got a theory.
Some kid is dreaming, and we're all stuck inside his wacky Broadway nightmare.
No, we're in a 70-year-old man's head. That's what we're...
Vince is dreaming, and we're all stuck inside his wacky Broadway nightmare. No, I've got a theory that actually the lead writer of both Raw and SmackDown is currently a Psyduck. And that explains why everything just makes you want to go like this. Seriously.
I don't know. With how long Raw is, you'd be mistaken that it's a Jigglypuff, and we're all put to sleep.
Or I think it might be a Magikarp, being that it's just splashing around doing jack.
But then that means it has the ability to evolve into something that will wreck us down the road, and I don't think WWE is capable of that.
I'm concerned about what Elias would evolve into.
Indeed. But yeah, we're here to talk about Money in the Bank.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I've heard about the pre-show, but I did not watch it. Did either of you two watch the pre-show?
Until you told me, I didn't know there was one.
Well, I did, because I thought it was going to be two matches on the pre-show, being that of the Cruiserweight match, which is actually on the main card this time around, so we'll get to that when it comes around. But the match that was on the solo match for the pre-show was a tag battle between the SmackDown tag team champions, being that now of the newly christened Daniel Bryan and Rowan, versus the Raw's Usos.
Don't you mean the Usos versus SpongeBob and Patrick, as the Usos like to call them?
Yes, that was their promo going into the match for the kickoff show. Oh, how hilarious it was! And the memes were brought upon Twitter when that came about. Yeah, thanks, Usos.
So the promo deserved to be on the kickoff.
No, the promo deserved to be on the kickoff, but the match itself, that could have been easily main card material. But I have a theory on why
everybody's got theories today.
Is it a side duck?
No, I feel as though that Daniel Bryan was being curious and said, "Hey, I want to be on the pre-show, just on the pre-show, but let the guys from the cruiserweight division have their time in the sun.
No one
on
will
the
say
main
that.
card for once."
Sorry, as
But
courteous
Daniel Bryan's
as
a
courteous
very humble person, though.
yeah, but then you're asking to put 3 other superstars who aren't on Daniel Bryan's paycheck, and unfortunately they might not agree with that situation.
And you have the Usos who are sick and tired of the pre-show, so it's.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, are you sure? I mean, your theory, like. Everybody's fighting to get on the main roster because
remember we were also trying to hide any potential Daniel Bryan shortcomings.
Mm-hmm. You've got to also remember that pay-per-view buys and the way that the main roster gets paid is if they're on the main show and not the pre-show.
Yeah.
So.
But regardless, this was actually a good showing from both teams. You know, like typical, the typical action that you would expect from the Usos in their tag team bouts, and Daniel Bryan and Rowan actually working well as, credible heels. Sadly, they had to take the fall, which was the question as to why the champions
50% booking because the Usos got beaten for when the titles got put on the line on SmackDown. It's complete 50% booking.
Yeah, and on this account, where many people thought that the titles were on the line, which they weren't. It was a non-title bout. Many people were reporting, "We got new tag champions, and it's the Usos who are now on Raw." And it's like, nope, it wasn't the case, boys. Don't know where you got that from.
Yep.
So,
but serviceable show, worth watching the pre-show for it.
At least for the match, yes. Everything else, meh.
A quick question. As the very obvious weak link in terms of the match, how did Rowan do?
Serviceable.
We'll take serviceable.
They've been selling his choke slam finish thing. So
yeah. So he has been getting over as quite the good muscle to Daniel Bryan's technical prowess.
Okay.
But well, there we go then. We'll move on to the main card relatively quickly. Starting off the card today was the women's Money in the Bank match, where we had Bayley versus Carmella, Dana Brooke, Ember Moon, Mandy Rose, who had Sonya Deville at ringside, Naomi, Natalia, and Nikki Cross, replacing Alexa Bliss. Mm-hmm. Thoughts, gentlemen?
My first thought was, why is Naomi now a neon wasp?
She's going to sting the opposition.
She was cosplaying.
She was cosplaying, was she?
Yes. She was being... a lot of people missed this, but of course, I'm the big nerd here, being that she was...
The appropriate term is Mark?
Well, what's the comic book and animation equivalent to a mark?
Me.
I'm a Pete in this situation.
Yeah.
Pete, okay. So I'm a Pete, knowing this, being that she was being cosplaying as Bumblebee from Teen Titans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Featured in that one episode where Cyborg went to another city and he formed the Teen Titans East, I think it was. And Bumblebee was part of the team, and then she became leader after Cyborg left it. So
excellent.
So yeah, Bumblebee, very underrated superhero, and that's who Naomi was. Okay. There you go, people. Now you know.
I don't think anybody cares.
Of course, nobody cares.
But it's information I didn't know, so thank you.
It's true.
It looked shit, but it was.
Yeah, it was very.
I was just looking to think, what the fuck have you come as? And that was pretty much it. Yeah, it was an interesting one. This particular ladder match.
I mean, overall, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree. I was enjoying this women's match. I mean, it was definitely better than previous iterations of the match for the women. So, I mean, each one had their own kind of like spots to it. Notably, Ember Moon was obviously the MVP, definitely in this match, getting her eclipse on
Natty.
yeah. So, overall, yeah, they worked well. I mean, granted, they weren't doing like the major spots that would be akin to a Money in the Bank ladder match, but no, they did their job. I mean, there was one spot where Bayley was in the middle of a ladder, and she was getting squashed by two other competitors while they were closing the ladder on her and whatnot, which would have been quite dangerous and whatnot. But they made it safe enough for her.
I'm kind of surprised they still insist on doing that spot because it never works properly.
No. But
do the first one, and then when you pull it apart from the first one, the actual hinges on the inside are all screwed.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I mean. Or they break, or something. And
but at least they're not, doing back body drops onto the ladder, because they know they can't do those.
Or Spanish fly off the ladder. That was.
Or splashes or falling through them and whatnot.
No, there was some really nice spots.
Yeah.
Except for one which Carmella may disagree about.
I enjoyed it. I think the right person won. Kind of. I don't know. I don't know if going into it I would have put my money on Bayley, but we'll see how she does. I mean, her current career did need a bit of a boost. And how it played off later on was quite good.
And the promo afterwards kind of hinted at the fact, like they're kind of like prodding stick at, that's how a lot of people are perceiving it, prodding the stick of saying to Sasha Banks and say, "Hey, Sasha, this would have been you if you stuck around." But
it wouldn't have been.
But really, in all honesty, that wouldn't have been the case, really, because if she did stick around and she was in the match, if Sasha Banks wasn't, was there any chance that she would win? Probably not.
Yeah, but you say that, like, I honestly didn't think they were going to give Charlotte a 9th reign very quickly as well, but,
But she's Flair. Come on. But we'll get to that.
They're absolutely goddamn obsessed with that anyway.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe. This was super fast, and I think obviously predicated by the fact of what happened in the match. And I think they played because Joe got his nose done by, I think it was a senton.
Yeah, he basically landed full on his face.
Yeah.
And he obviously broke it open, and I think that they made the call to end the match early based on that call specifically. I'm not sure if it's accurate. They might have just gone for the quick match to copy the Mania match, I believe it was. You know, to have one in Rey's favor. It could be it could have been one of the two things. I don't think anybody's really commented on why it happened. But the post-match item between the two makes me think that it was premeditated.
You've got the whole thing with the ref, with the left shoulder so far off the mat.
Yeah,
it's got oxygen depletion.
I mean, can we just get ahead of time and say the refs for this entire pay-per-view were completely incompetent?
I think they might have been having a little before the show and were a little off key at points.
Were they having a little bit of the whole effing show? Were they? Or,
maybe.
Well, they effed up the whole show.
Having a little 420.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you what was really good about that match. the visual of Joe afterwards.
Oh yeah, Joe.
We've got the cut under the eye, and then it was like the blood coating his nose and out his mouth, or like that,
Yeah.
and that was. And it's just this demented, outraged look because Joe's amazing.
It's Joe. It's Joe as we should actually see him. You know.
Aye.
Broken and covered in blood. But yeah, no, that was such anytime they just let Joe just show what an absolute freaking monster he is amazing. And yeah, at that point in time, you knew that Ray was screwed.
Mm.
And if he was anyway smart, he'd have gone straight out of the building. He'd have done a running away championship celebration, down the ramp, blah blah blah, and got the hell away from him. But
no. But this does mean that Ray is now a Grand Slam champion.
It
Which
does,
they,
doesn't it?
yeah, they just recently just popped it in there, and it's like I didn't think that was gonna happen, but yep, another Grand Slam.
They're just spewing them out the woodwork these days, aren't they?
Aren't they just? I wonder who else is next for that prestigious honor.
I don't know, because the 24/7 championship's in there now. Oh, it can't be a Grand Slam champ anymore. 24/7.
Well,
now.
let's be fair.
Everybody's going to be queuing up.
The Grand Slam
the
never.
24/7
The
belt.
Grand Slam never included the hardcore belt when it was around either. So.
We've got the softcore belt now, so it's fine.
Jesus.
And
Does anybody else want to talk about Ray and Joe and what that might lead into down the line?
I don't know. It can't possibly, because we're doing something with Dominic. I love the idea. I love the idea of them going back and doing the custard day papers again for Dominic.
So
it's like Dominic having
here's the thing.
PTSD.
Well, here's the thing. What was it? Cole. One of the calls from Cole just after that match, when Ray was getting beaten down, it's like saying it's like Dominic. It's like, it's like that. Dominic, the teenage son of whatever. Calling Dominic a teenager. He's 22.
He's 22. Yeah.
22.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Little kid, brick shit house that he actually is now.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus.
Young adults, Cole, would have been more appropriate to say, not bloomin' teenager, for crying out loud.
the rumor on the grapevine is that Ray's gonna be thinking about retiring soon, and they're gonna hand over. He's gonna hand over his mask as a way to say, like, look.
Oh, that's evident. With the recent trademarks.
So I can only assume. Will the name carry on as well? Then will then
I think
he become
he's
Rey Mysterio Jr. again.
No, I think he'll be Rey Mysterio Jr.
Well, no, because he was Rey Mysterio Jr. because
in
he was
WCW,
passed on from his uncle, who was Rey Mysterio. Was it uncle? It was Rey Mysterio, and then he eventually became Rey Mysterio.
The thing is that Dominic's too
Because
big
it was-
to carry on that sort of lucha style. So
I'd love to see him. I bet he could. I bet he could. If with the right thing, he could go.
well,
you know?
Cesaro can 619. So
Yeah.
That was a nice match on Raw. I think it was.
When they had it.
A
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago. That was really nice because they did it as well. They Cesaro bring out the 619.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the Swiss 19.
the Swiss 19, yeah.
as it keeps being called, which is fair enough. But anyway, Joe, goodness knows.
I think they're definitely
Joe
building it
time.
right. There was a nice promo from Joe on Raw regarding the state of the US Championship, and we'll see where it's going to go from there.
I think it'll be culminating to a rematch at Showdown.
Maybe
Super Two.
we'll see.
Joe being a justified heel is a bit of an odd one.
Yeah.
Because Joe's normally justified in his own mind, but he's kind of delusional about it.
Yeah.
And in this instance, he's right.
Yeah.
And that
tends to be
feels
happening a
odd for
lot.
It feels odd for the character, you know.
But it's been happening a lot to a lot of heels. They're justified and whatnot with their actions.
Absolutely.
Happens.
So yes, the next match is a steel cage match between the awesome one, The Miz, and the best in the world, Shane McMahon. Also known as the world's sweatiest individual. In terms of wins and look. So
you can fill the the Dead Sea with the amount of sweat he produces.
What I'd like to do right now is talk to all you Connecticut sweat-offs.
wow.
about the match you're gonna have with them. I'm perfectly down for these matches, just continuing. Just The Miz walloping Shane McMahon to an inch of his life and then losing.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm actually okay with this.
This was a decent match of Miz just having a go at Shane at all points. Beautiful kind of like spots were happening throughout the match. With I think it was like a skull crushing finale to the chair. Yeah. Although it would lead to the very idiot call.
Stupid ref calls, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
rope breaks that don't exist in the cage to rope breaks that do exist. So
it was like previously before that spot. What was it? Miz
Crawling out the door.
Whoever was in was in a submission.
Figure four, that was it.
Figure four. There was no rope breaks for that.
No rope breaks. Oh, that was when
put on the rope for a pin. Rope break. Consistency. Thy name is not.
Did we protect? I say we. There's another W in there. Protect the skull crushing finale via referee incompetence, because
possibly
a skull crushing finale to a chair for him to kick out would have been absolutely raging about that.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think I've seen this before in another cage match where someone did their finisher in the cage and whatnot in a finalized situation, and this exact thing happened before.
See,
I don't know what the match was. I don't know who it was.
I know what you mean. Though.
It feels like I've seen this shit before, and
it's definitely happened.
That's WWE all over. What are you talking about?
It's definitely happened before. But I'm sure it's happened in Hell in a Cell as well. But they could have just played it off like the ref was paid extra by McMahon to break the thing up. If it could have been.
Didn't somebody on the commentary quickly try and come up with something like that?
Well, what was it? Cole and
was it Tom?
What was it? No, was it? No, it was Tom and Graves were complaining about the fact. And then I think Renee.
Can I just say it was nice to have Phillips on a bit more and Graves not. That was great. More of that, please, and as in less of.
Graves is certainly had gone downhill in recent times. Like I remember when he was praised and lauded for being one of the best commentators, and now he's just.
Now he's got his head up his own arse.
Now he is Graves, the King Lawler.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's true.
Oh my god, he is, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah,
he is.
Instead of Graves Ventura, we get Graves Laura. Great.
Oh, Graves Laura.
Anyway, how the match ended was just hilarious. I'll give it to them. You know, at least saved. You know, Shane doing another stupid spot with what they were trying to do, where Miz trying to suplex him out from the other side.
From top of the cage,
from on top of the cage. But it would end up, because of the amount of sweat that was being produced.
That was what was essentially said.
The lubrication that was needed to escape from the grasp. Like,
do you think that he's just become aware
Oh yeah,
He's self-aware.
Shane's very self-aware.
He must have.
Yeah, but you're quite right. We haven't seen that much lubrication in the match since Enzo slipped out of that cage. Whatever he's calling himself now.
Well, it's Pillock. Yeah, we'll call him that.
Yeah.
But yeah. The match was serviceable. It was a nice kind of like back and forth kind of like thing, and it's just a shame that Miz still hasn't gotten his redemption.
Yeah. But also what we're doing with Miz here, because I thought they'd kind of started taking him back towards heel.
I think he's kind of a tweener. I'm not entirely sure how they're trying to play it.
Yeah, I think they're sort of aiming, he's a heel unless Shane's there, in which case face.
It's weird. I don't know what they're aiming to do at the moment with him. It's something that's very, I don't know. But I think it was a good match. It was very, very good.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about Tony Nese versus Daivari. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, what are your thoughts?
I think it was nice that they had that slot on the card.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a pity that it was those two who were filling it.
Mm-hmm.
It really didn't do anything.
Because if it was Buddy Murphy still in the picture and whatnot, that would have been a little bit better.
It felt like a 205 match.
Yeah.
Is the problem. It felt like a 205 like mid-card match. And it really didn't need that. And considering that, considering that 205 Live had like a really nice hot streak in terms of the actual matches they've had as a part of the main pay-per-views, the main big shows, if you like. And they've had that for a while coming into that, and it's like the first one in the world that has kind of been rather kind of let down. So it's a shame. I mean, they did what they could. I mean, let me just check. How long did they actually have? Oh, well, they had 9 minutes. 9 minutes 22 according to this. So it wasn't like they were short of time.
No. I just. Oh yeah.
Again, for me it was serviceable again, but nothing that I was like totally going, oh, I love this match, kind of like mentality. It's like,
I don't know. I think I kind of mentally switched off from this one, which is why I don't have a lot to say about it.
Same here.
It's a shame because Nese versus the WrestleMania Cruiserweight match was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's a part of it is to do with the fact that I don't watch 205 Live.
That is a problem because we don't all have the time to watch every single hour of content.
I mean, that's 6 hours. 6 hours of wrestling a week.
Also, not being funny, I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
Watch it all. It's just like there's being a fan of wrestling, and then there's actually just drowning in it, and you know.
Yeah. We'll skip straight on to Becky Lynch in the first of her title defenses on the evening versus Lacey Evans.
It's like what's it? Like Moneybags McGraw here coming in with the unique entrance.
Lacey Bucks.
The Lacey Buck shooters. So pow 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 pow. Yeah.
Which doesn't go with her gimmick.
Nope. Well, she's obviously just trying to do a Money in the Bank kind of.
I'm an old school Southern Belle, so here's some money guns.
I don't know. It's weird. How they just gave that to her and whatnot. But the match itself.
Take her as well.
The match itself was, I mean, Becky tried her best to work with her, and there was moments, but damn, Lacey, she is not ready for main roster. She was just called up way too early.
Was she a Vince? Call up?
She is a Vince, I think. Because
I
she's
don't
blonde,
think-
she's
Vince
tall,
is
she's
Vince is
pretty.
very high on the Lacey Evans thing because she was also in the Navy.
Marine. Marines, Navy.
Yeah, she's had some very naval
Gimmick.
outfits
That's
occasionally.
yeah,
when I think.
that's what she
It's part
kind
of
of
it.
based her.
But yeah, she needed another year in NXT minimum. And the thing is, you could tell when watching her in NXT, you could tell that well, she's gonna get a massive push whenever she goes up to the main roster.
Yeah,
Because she's basically everything that
Vince
Vince
likes.
likes. And because that was when it was the Women's Royal Rumble, and it was like her versus Charlotte, and I said she was basically just mini Charlotte.
Yeah.
Which is
And that's how the program has been going forward.
Is just squint you couldn't tell the bloody difference.
We had a tag match on SmackDown this week with Lacey Evans and Charlotte versus Bayley and Becky, and it really wouldn't surprise me if they were going to if Lacey and Charlotte go towards the Women's Tag Team Championships as the ladies of wrestling.
Well, Raw, it was Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, and
Becky
versus the Iconics
and Lacey.
And dear Christ, that was awful.
Yeah.
That was really, really bad. And frankly, it was all one side that was really bad.
Yeah.
And a third of the other side wasn't even competing. So, but we've got to maintain that Alexa Bliss is apparently perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Got to keep up those appearances.
Well, they want to just keep her on TV. So
of course,
which is fair enough, but bite the bullet a bit at some point, for God's sake.
That's it, isn't it?
This match.
I think the most notable spot in it was the botched sliced bread number 2 attempt, which kind of turned into a ricochet cutter from Lacey Evans to Becky Lynch, which was just very sloppy.
Get the fundamentals right first, and then
I think we'll see.
Speaking of sloppy shit again, actually going back to the Miz Shane match. I love that Miz is trying with this splash.
Oh.
But if he's trying to splash, Seth Rollins splash off the top. Oh my God, absolute thing of beauty. Miz, Seth Rollins
lands
like that
on
in the
his
air.
feet.
Miz is like that in the air.
Yeah, he's
on his knees. I love that he's trying. I love that he's trying to put some actual.
He just doesn't have the confidence for it yet. No. He needs to go back to the performance center.
He needs to go back to the performance center so he can actually so she can do it in whatever, and so he's happy with it. But so that's an example of somebody who has by far and away got their fundamentals. There's adding stuff to it. Lacey should not be trying something that is potentially as dangerous as sliced bread 2, when there's so much other stuff that she really needs to get right first.
Yeah. You have to crawl first before you can run.
You crawl, you walk, you run. You don't start going, I am the Olympic champion of the 100 meters. Good day to you, sir, I run through this minefield.
But yes, Becky wins via submission in a really quick tap out after not a lot of work in the disarmer.
After, again, another failed attempt of refereeing where the referee didn't try to go for a pinfall during a little
pinfall, nothing going on. Oh fuck it, we'll put this disarmer on. Boom. And then a weird tap as well, wasn't it?
It was like
very his flailing arm.
It was rather bizarre.
Tapping!
Lacey, which shoulder is hurting, Lacey? This one.
I don't know. It's so bizarre. It was so bizarre an ending. It was just like, okay, well, she's done with now. Fine. Moving on to the main event we fought, as in the battle with Charlotte, which was totally going to happen later. But no,
Yeah, so after the match and Becky's starting to head out, Charlotte comes straight out and says, "We're having the match now." It's almost like she thought she was a Money in the Bank holder, saying, "Look, I'm cashing in my title shot now."
And commentary was quite right in that there was no way that she should have accepted this. She was perfectly within her rights to refuse it.
But I mean, it harks back to when Seth had both belts and he had to defend one after the other.
Yeah, the US title and the
Heavyweight.
World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah.
Where he was probably going to lose it before he broke Sting in half.
What would have behooved that entire situation is if it had been made clear that it was it was Stephanie or the McMahons or something
that orchestrated it. Yeah,
that actually sent down, or have one of them come out and have Stephanie come out and go, congratulations, well done. That was a fantastic performance. We look forward to seeing you in your next fight, which is now. And that's all that's required. You've got that, and you've got this. Because having it as it was, it just made Becky look really dumb for accepting it. Oh yeah, she's brave. She's brave from living. She's also dumb.
Well, she's also a man, and a man doesn't back down.
She's also a man. Well, she's also a man. That proves she's dumb. That proves she's dumb.
So yeah, take it from us, men.
Trust me, men are dumb. Okay, we are dumb. Fucking stupid.
I don't know about this man. They are certainly dumb and stupid. I mean, this one is a current predictions champion and is certainly not dumb.
So you beat two people who literally just told you that they were stupid. Well, that fucking makes you the champion of the world. That does. It
does.
Absolutely. You've achieved so much beating a couple of idiots.
Congratulations,
in a guessing game.
King of the idiots.
Well done. Well done.
You inflate my ego to new levels. It's so wonderful. Uplift me some more.
He doesn't even we're insulting him. See, he is dumb. There we go. It's proven.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, who wears the gold? Who wears the gold? Who wears the gold? I wear the gold.
The sofa at the minute is fucking behind you.
Yeah, but it looks so good. It looks so good. Look at it. Look at it.
Trust me, it's it's only just one piece of gold.
It's fine. One piece is all you need.
He needs the Knuckles plush sticking out the top of it, actually.
Yeah. Well, you mean
Knuckles being the NXT champion?
That's it. No. The match was pretty much. I want to say it was pretty much standard Charlotte versus Becky, but that doesn't take it away from the fact it was a good match. Like the finish was a bit screwy, and I really don't think it needed to be. I think
they needed to forward some angle going.
They needed to. They needed a way to get the belt off of Becky. It sounds like. It's a bit. I would have given her at least a pay-per-view where she kept both and then loses it, but I think it's a way for them to get Bayley to cash in without cashing in on Becky, because anyone who cashes it in on Becky, regardless of whether they're a face or a heel, will just get nuclear heat. Whereas
I was hoping to a point where they would have Becky defend both her titles in a triple threat triangle match, a la WrestleMania 2000, where Angle
Jericho Benoit.
The problem with that is that it makes anyone going into that blind would seem like that whoever gets pinfall gets both belts. Rather than a triple threat.
Also, you've got to remember that match never happened.
Exactly, but I know what you're thinking, because you do it as a triple threat against a SmackDown star and a Raw star, and whoever gets the pinfall or submission gets the belt for their respective brand.
Well, it was basically in that match specifically. It was like the first fall was for one belt, the second fall was for the other. That's
the benefit of that. And I agree with you, John. Believe me, I agree with you in that it would be a very nice way of doing that, actually. But the thing was with that match is that they were the secondary belts.
Yeah, of course
they were. Freed Angle up to go after the
eventually,
and we don't. There's no step up.
Yeah, in terms of like the Angle to help,
I am waiting for.
we'll get to
I was actually watching SmackDown, waiting for Carmella to backstab Truth and pin him for the W24.
Totally fine with that. Totally fine with that.
It wasn't confirmed whether or not female superstars can go after the title.
They haven't said, have they? Paige raised it, and they haven't.
Yes.
Said.
Yeah, but
and I think they didn't think about that.
I think they haven't thought about it, and I completely agree. But I think it would open it up to shenanigans where they had the Gerald Briscoe taking the belt off of Crash Holly in the APA while he was asleep.
Yeah,
but the whole point of it is that they want to bring back the fun shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but are you suggesting shenanigans would happen with a title in World Wrestling Entertainment? Shenanigans, sir.
Shenanigans.
I swear I'm gonna pistol whip the next person who says shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Where's my pistol?
Insert the Vince getting excited gif here of just shenanigans.
But it was a good match. Bayley cashes in on Charlotte essentially.
She comes in for the save because Becky was pissed off at Lacey for screwing her over and whatnot.
Yeah, because she got the
woman's right.
Yeah,
but it was like right in her throat, which I'm not sure if that was intended or not, but it looked a lot more effective as a result.
But effectively, what was it? That wasn't it to finish Becky, because Becky kicked out. Out of the or like she still was able to do a reverse.
Yeah, it was a nice full finish.
And then it was like a boot to finish her off and whatnot. But yeah,
it wasn't a boot
or whatever.
It was one of several boots to complete fresh air. There was a couple. It was very unfortunate. It was the finish on this one. Yeah. No, it's normally on these it's Charlotte missing by a country mile, but this was Becky's fault. It was that big foot gap.
Yeah, but no, the angle going in, Becky beating up on Lacey, then Charlotte joins into the fray to beat up on Becky.
Leave my little sister alone.
And then Bayley comes in with the contract in hand, and she was able to take out Lacey, and then Charlotte was able to take out herself.
She tells me. Yeah, that was good. It's her own comeuppance for being, as they said, greedy.
Yeah, and then Bayley was like, "Should I? Let's go for it!" And takes the opportunity and goes for the win with the homage elbow. I just want to call it the homage elbow. I'm not gonna call it the.
Oh yeah, it's the the macho queen elbow. Let's say.
Yeah. But it was a nice celebration. She was going into the crowd and finding all the Bayley signs.
There's plenty of Bayley signs there.
I don't know if they were like legitimate signs or. If they were just,
I think they were. There was so many of them.
There was quite a lot of legitimate kind of like one specifically advertising. It's like Bayley in the bank.
Bayley in the bank, and then there was another one that she.
And it's like Bayley's a champ.
Bayley in the bank, Bayley champ. Yeah, it was a good reaction because it was just like, hey, we're actually doing something with Bayley again. That's good. And people were pissed when Charlotte won.
Oh yeah,
because and for it to lose.
But again, it's just.
We're just inflating her numbers artificially, everybody.
Essentially, because that's her at 9 reigns as a champion.
Fucking reigns.
In only 4 years, I think. I'm going to say 3 or 4 years. That's crazy.
There must be a thing on here for collectively how many days.
I thought John Cena's reigns was getting too quick with the WWE champion.
Yeah, but there was that period in 2003, 2005. But at least hot-shotted quite a lot as well.
Yeah, well, hot-shotted a couple of times. But at least at some point it was like he had a reign for a year and he didn't have a chance of going to the title for several months afterwards. Right. No, Charlotte pretty much gets hot-shotted the title nearly on an average of 8 months, every 8 months or so. It was ridiculous.
Let me see. Whoops.
But
yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I don't think.
do you feel as though that they're going to?
I feel like they should have kept the Money in the Bank for longer, rather than just letting Charlotte have her 9th reign and then pass it on. She didn't need it.
I think, what was it? Last year it was Alexa Bliss, I believe, and she cashed it in on the same night as well.
She did.
So
yeah.
It's a repeat of that kind of like.
Yeah, but Alexa's cash-in was really good. She came to the conclusion that if Ronda Rousey had it, she wasn't going to be able to cash in because there's no way she was going to beat Ronda Rousey. So she takes Ronda Rousey out of the picture, beats down Nia Jax, and cashes it in. She did it really well. If you want to have Bayley get the belt, not even do the early cash-in. If you want to have Bayley do it, just go up to Becky and go be like, and just do the John Cena thing. Like, I'm cashing in on you. I'm having my match at not obviously Super Showdown because it's in Jeddah, but at whatever the next pay-per-view is, which is it's obviously Takeover. But after that,
no, have a Takeover. That'd be awesome.
Stomping Grounds. Because that's replaced Backlash.
Oh yeah, that new one. Oh yeah, of course.
It's just there. I don't know how I feel.
But hey.
But yeah, after the match, that's pretty much it. We see Roman Reigns heading to the ring via the side of the ramp, and gets caught up by Elias, who does a full.
Didn't draw a dime.
Smashed him pretty much with the belt, and that was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah.
But then, he goes out to perform with an electric guitar in the ring, and just as he's about to end the set, Reigns comes down on the ramp, not even selling a guitar to the back, with a Superman punch to the face of Elias, takes him down to the ring, pins him in even faster fashion than Bayley cashing in on Flair, because that was 20 seconds, and Reigns beat Elias in 10.
Recognised time for that. 1 second.
Wikipedia tells me it was 20 seconds for Bayley versus Charlotte and 10 seconds for Reigns versus Elias.
Yep. 10 seconds, everybody.
Let's be fair. If anybody's
those were
anybody's gonna get over a squash, it's gonna be Elias. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh.
But
I will say one thing about Elias though. We were mentioning elbow drops earlier. He's got a really beautiful elbow.
He does.
Drop,
he sails very well.
He does. He glides through the air. It's quite something.
So,
pity about everything else, but
I imagine that match was purely there to give fans a break after the women's match.
I don't know about that because I think we had something else later on this night that was also might be a little bit filler.
So while I fully expected to have the men's Money in the Bank match next instead of headlining the show, we actually had a bomb of a match of Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles.
Boy, this match.
I'll let you boys take it on since you're super excited.
Well, Kevin.
Oh, no, you
No. You can go. No,
I tell you what, this though. Remember when we were super excited about AJ versus Shinsuke?
Yeah. And it was the same case with this one. This was gonna be one of those matches we really wanted to see, but after seeing Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ at WrestleMania and several matches afterwards, we were kind of hesitant what would happen.
But in this case, oh boy, did it deliver!
Mm-hmm.
Every move meant something. We had the
counters. Oh,
there was counters all over the place. There was little touches on the history. We had it played in the commentary played into it a little bit about how they've known each other for so long.
The promo video for this match was stellar as well.
Yeah. There's one thing that WWE always does well. Oh yeah, by a mile. Yeah. By a mile. It's one of those matches one of the problems I think of wrestling in the modern day. There's not a lot of matches you could really go back and watch.
Oh, I don't know about that. I went through a massive
But
thing of.
in terms of that you would want to go back and rewatch. Let me put it that way. There's a lot of wrestling is sort of disposable in a way now. It's sort of watch once and then it's done. It's consigned to history quite a lot. This was something you can go back and watch again and again and again because it is a clinic of moves of two competitors, two athletes, two consummate professionals in what they do, going all out at their best, and nobody really knew where the finish was coming from either, which was great. Either of them could have won it. It wasn't pulled down by 50-50 booking. It wasn't pulled down by the storyline. The storyline was being told in the ring between the two of them, and we had so many sick counters. We had the counter of the counter into the Styles clash, which was super low. And that...
I did worry about that.
Oh god! I mean, he's a tall bugger as well, Seth. So
yeah, he's around about 6'2", 6'3", or whatever.
Yeah, but that was such a great counter. We had everyone pulling out all the moves. Properly. I love when AJ gets hit by something and he just crumples.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The way he again the selling machine that he's a master of.
Yeah, because when he does that, it's just like, okay, you would essentially believe anything after that could get a pinfall.
Mm-hmm.
Any move at all, could get a pinfall, and it would kind of be justified because, like, oh my god, look at this guy, he's been completely. It adds realism to it. It's like when it's like in the Taker Foley Hell in a Cell where Foley doesn't know where he is and Taker punches him and he just collapses. Because it's so out.
Well, he was legitimately out.
Yeah, he was, and because of that, even though you weren't sure watching it initially that this guy's obviously, but you could tell that okay, well you didn't know it was legitimate. You're in the moment, a sort of experience. Okay, this guy's hurt. It takes you by surprise. And he always lands in such a fucking awful over his arm, that. It's enough to make you wonder and give you that element of doubt. But it was such a fantastic match.
And Seth getting the pinfall win on it as well.
Absolutely fair enough.
Worth it. And it's like another notable spot that they had was the inverted
superplex
into inverted Falcon's Arrow.
It's something.
Yeah, it was like we'll call it Phoenix Arrow or something. I don't know. It's like because that was like way. That was crazy. I actually worried about AJ's neck during that spot. Well,
yeah, we're still doing stuff to this guy with neck and back.
We all have to remember that the reason we see the Styles clash at all, we have to thank Chris Jericho for fighting to get it reinstated because it's a cool thing to see.
Yep.
Because didn't he say it was because it was like, oh, the Style Clash of Bands. So he's like, okay, I'm going to do this move, and he basically said it was the same. He described the move and then just called it something else. And then after was like, oh yeah, no, that was actually the Styles Clash.
Yeah. Sly dog, AJ.
Yes. Yeah.
Good match.
I mean, it's not like that move hadn't been done again. That move hadn't been done beforehand because we had the Faith Breaker with Michelle.
Breaker.
Was it Michelle who did the Faith? Was it Michelle who did it?
I think so. I think it was Michelle.
I think Michelle would call it.
It was one.
I remember it was the Faith Breaker. That's what. It was
the Diva Superstar that was using it. Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. There was never any problem because obviously she was,
Yeah.
tall as a
Anyway.
mountain, so it doesn't matter.
Indeed. But yeah, good match. Best on the card, I'd say. Moving on to Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston, which, any other time it would have been a good match. Straight after AJ and Seth, I think the crowd was very exhausted. Like it's a situation of bad booking and just putting the matches just so the wrong way as well.
You're right with this one being like one major championship match after another.
Yeah, you normally have
was
something
the bad
in between.
call. Yeah, you had to have something in between. That. Yeah,
Fling the cruiserweights in there just to break it up if you need to.
yeah, which they put in there at the wrong time. I mean, granted, like in terms of like looking at the match on its own, it was a good match. Like they had the angle right where once that bell went, they were at it. They were at it with a lot of hate and ones that they were just trying to punch the living daylights out of each other. And that's what we wanted. That's what we wanted sometimes in these blood feud, like these kind of like hard feuds where a lot of people, when we have a feud going on, sometimes when it's like, oh, I hate you so much and whatnot, we're just gonna go into a grapple and whatnot. No, these guys were hating each other so much and said, all right, let's get in there. Once the bell rings, let's at it. And from the word go, they were going at each other. And there were some really notable spots. Owens at top form, being the heel that he's always been. Getting, sending his kind of like, verbiage to the crowd to get them riled up and whatnot. He knew how to bring the crowd back after they were so tired from the previous match. So,
Absolutely.
And what was it? Some of the unique things, like taking off Kofi's shoes. I don't know how that was going to be a
You
viable
can't
thing,
do that to Kofi Kingston because he loves kick. Don't take his kicks away.
It would have been more funnier if it was
sad.
Xavier Woods' shoes. That way, it's like he'd just knock out Xavier Woods, take his shoes, and just use the pointy things.
Oh no, the curly-toed boots. Oh,
Yeah.
the eyes. trying to.
But yeah.
Trying to do the Road Warriors on Dusty thing with the spike, but with these spiky shoes.
But yeah. But no, but the match overall, the match I felt was a really good match. But I can understand how it was poorly placed on the card. So I know that'll probably affect the overall kind of like show for you guys and whatnot. But for the match itself, I did actually enjoy it.
From my side, I love the fact that we get to see intense Kofi, because it's like the thing that was always the criticism of New Day can't do like all intense stuff. It's just like, well, what New Day have you been watching? Because please see Xavier getting tortured to death in that match with the Usos that time. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, the comedy. There's nothing to stop comedy guys. We've got people who have a overly comedy act being really, really serious. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was. I don't know what it is. I just don't care about Kevin Owens right now. I know.
Yeah.
Gonna leave you utterly perplexed, Turbo. I know. But
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I appreciate what he does, but I just don't care.
I think
I'm not interested in the matches at the minute.
I think a large part of that is because we know that even in that heavyweight contender position, we're not gonna see him win the belt again for a while.
It's not even that.
So there's not even care, I guess.
It's not. It's not even that. I don't. The which is so bizarre. It's so bizarre because clearly he's a very entertaining guy who understands the psychology of the modern wrestling fan, which a lot more than a lot of other people do in the business. I just don't know. I watch a Kevin Owens match at the minute, and I'm just like,
I think it's because a lot of his matches are very methodical in terms of the spots that he does. So you just know
that's how I like him.
I know, but at the moment, for whatever reason, it's just not doing anything for me. His stuff, which is a shame. I don't know. Maybe it was
Kevin Owens stuff, and I will like it here.
Okay, that's absolutely fine.
I think on that point we should move to what I sure probably Kev, but John as well are gonna really enjoy, and that was the men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Oh wait, before we get to that.
Yeah, before we get John.
Yeah, the Lucha House Party came by to be quite the house party.
I specifically didn't want to have
a 6-man tag match of some kind.
I specifically didn't want to talk about this situation because I knew that you two would want to raise the ugly card in the room, and quite frankly, I think enough
everyone
other
else
people have done
is.
it.
We might as well talk about it.
Go on.
All we need to really say is Kalisto busted the Get Open. Moving on.
Simple as.
Kalisto maintains his reputation.
Yeah, it's like he likes taking the big man down a notch sometimes, doesn't he?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah. So, yeah. Moving on from that, but extremely satisfying.
Yeah.
To see him busted open because he tried to.
But by him we mean by Lars Sutherland, by the way. So if you're still perplexed on who we're talking about, well, he's not redacted yet. Yeah. He will be soon if it keeps on going.
Yeah.
If it happens again.
That's it. Moving along.
Men's Ladder in the Bank.
Ladder in the Bank.
Yep, Ladder in the Bank. Men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Ali, Andrade, two people that have fallen victim to the naming policy.
Yeah.
Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, and Randy Orton, and one Ricochet.
I really enjoyed this.
Now, prior to this match, it was going to be an 8-man match, and Sami Zayn was going to be in the match. However, he was found chained up, upside down, assumed that it was Braun Strowman who got a hold of him and put him in that predicament, and he was carted off to a medical facility to be, seen to and stuff like that. So we would end up with the 7 men that we had in the ring that was just mentioned. So, and the match itself was a real good match in terms of that thing, and it was very brutal and very spot heavy and whatnot, with some very notable spots. Balor, my God, man, it's like, you're back.
He doesn't have a spine anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, his spine must be gelatin.
Jelly and
now.
cheese whiz.
Yes. So
his spine's basically one of those like plastic toy snakes you used to get with all the segments.
Yes,
that you can sort of wave about in midair. It's basically that. Is his spine now?
Bloody heck.
It just waves about and flexes in places it's not supposed to.
But yeah,
it was hard hitting.
I liked how
impactful.
Yeah, the most notable thing at the start was Randy Orton being like the clever heel, is just going out of the ring first and then just picking off all the athletic guys first. So it was like Andrade, Ali, Finn Balor, putting them, or try to put them through the announcers table like multiple times.
Well, he's a crafty bastard. We know this, and he plays very well into what was going on.
He is the Viper.
You had all sorts of stories going on. You had the alliance between Corbin and McIntyre. McIntyre came out
I
like
thought-
a man possessed.
I thought that those two pulled off very well.
Yeah, they did. They did. Corbin did some really nice stuff.
Yeah,
In
doing
terms of moves.
what was he? He
That's
caught Ali, was it, or
He caught
Andrade?
He caught Ali, I think it was.
Yeah, into a deep six.
And it turned it into a deep six on the outside.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um, yeah, no, it was really, and I said we all love the deep six, you know. But it's just in general, it was all really hard hitting, and they went, you know, hell for leather. We had the Corbin stabbing Drew in the back,
yeah,
and then Drew responding with a Claymore kick to the air. Continuing the second theme of the night.
Yeah, but at least
again,
they tried to mask
yeah,
it for camera angles.
Yeah, but the fact that it was, you know, it was like he was infuriated that he would have the nerve to do that. You had Ali doing stuff. You had Ricochet. Obviously, doing his stuff and getting countered on it in some instances, which was interesting. It was like, oh, people have done their homework here on the guy. Amazing.
Essentially looking at his performance in the ladder match for the North American Championship that he was in.
Yeah.
So.
No. I love the Ricochet version. The other lads were just like, no, I would do it. No, I would do it. I would do it. That was quite funny, but you know, trying to sort of outspeed each other. Yeah. So, and then you had sort of Andrade doing sort of spots in between. He was kind of the glue for the whole thing.
Yeah.
He sort of kept it sort of going on from spots. It didn't really do anything, spectacular.
Well, his one spectacular one was with Balor doing the sunset flip into powerbomb onto the ladder. Where he bounced off.
He bounced him. But I mean, other than that, he was sort of there throughout as the sort of thread throughout. He sort of kept appearing and doing bits. So anyway, so these guys absolutely busted their asses for, you know, let's say 18 minutes.
Ali was up on the last man standing. He was up the ladder. He was about to get the briefcase, and
he came down with a sudden attack of undercard wrestler in the headlight syndrome.
Musical statues is what I like to call it.
I hear something going.
When the music starts, you become a statue.
Yeah, and that music is. Dun. Retired from UFC. I've got nothing to do here. I come for a paycheck. Yeah, so those guys busted their asses for 18. Then Brock Lesnar came out and won it.
So what are your general thoughts on it? John?
On the decision?
On Brock Lesnar winning. What are your general thoughts?
Well, it was a bit... Well, we kind of got an idea of who did that to Sami Zayn now, because it's only evident. They're lying. It was them who took out Bloomin' Zayn and did that. It's just Zayn obviously doesn't know. He didn't know who attacked him, but it's kind of evident who it was. But in terms of like Brock Lesnar just needing a way to have an opportunity at a title again, this doesn't need to happen with him needing to have the briefcase. He didn't need to have this briefcase win. He didn't need to be in the match. He didn't need to be there. He could have just easily just been the intimidating heel and go up to any of the McMahons and just saying, it's like, look, I want a title opportunity. I want money. Give it to me. And I will, or I will wreck your shit. Or something like that. I don't know. But no.
And if I'm successful at defending, if I'm successful at getting the defending, I'll throw the belt at you. That's what I do.
But
So-
the WWE wanted to be clever with this, and it was very sour to a lot of people, and myself included.
I entirely understand why they've given that to Brock.
Because I think it works very much in the favour of, if he's not going to be there any show, they can
Absolutely.
do what they do and have
Absolutely.
Paul Heyman appear like they did on SmackDown and make it a threat that way. Because the
Absolutely.
threat
He
of
doesn't
Brock,
need to be there.
because you don't know when Brock's going to appear. So
Also, in having that and it being, you've got the instant fix if any champion's injured, because you can instantly use the Money in the Bank as the get out of jail free card, and you've got a champion there who doesn't need to be built in any way, shape, or form because it's Brock Lesnar.
mm-hmm.
It fits in with his lazy, doesn't actually give a fuck about entertaining anybody persona.
Yeah, but the problem is that the problem is that many people are seeing, and this is how I'm seeing it as well. It's a catalyst to get him to cash it in on Seth Rollins to get a rematch, because there's no rematches anymore for
some
these
reason.
titles. So the only way for him to get another shot at the Universal title that he lost at WrestleMania is to cash it in and have it advertised for the biggest show, something that is bigger than WrestleMania.
So we know he's going to be at Super Showdown. We know that much.
Yeah.
Already.
Well, yes, because he wants some steak and he wants some money. So yeah, he wants his nice meal again that he had last time because he really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
He got to have a nice sit down meal with the representatives and Taker and Vince.
Yeah.
It was like, give me half a cow, and they went, here it is. And he got paid lots of money, which is his main thing.
Mm-hmm.
How many zeros are on the end of this? That'll do.
Yeah. So that's how I'm seeing this and whatnot. If anyone thought that he was just going to be there as a substitute and was like, you are damn wrong.
No.
Because that wasn't going to be the case whatsoever with this, him having the briefcase and whatnot. He wasn't going to hold it as ransom as the title. It says, nah, we were just going to hold the title. If they are going to put the title back on him and hold it ransom again, fine. Screw everything that you did to kind of make a credible kind of champion to be on your brand again.
Yeah, you remember how everyone was celebrating when Brock lost the title.
Yeah.
Because for the first time, we had the title again.
Yes.
It was like Raw had a belt. Raw had like a big belt that people could go for, a top tier belt, because it had just been absent without leave for goodness knows how long, which is why the Miz was like the champion on Raw for seemingly forever. And
I think it'll be more likely a cash in on Kofi. I think that's going to be what it's going to be. I think he'll go for
that's going to be. You've got to remember we've got the Fox thing coming up.
That's why I was thinking it'll be a SmackDown thing, because Brock
it'll be a
obviously
SmackDown thing. You'll take it off of thing. They take it off of Kofi because we want Brock to be the face of the Big Show. I can't wait for SmackDown to become the Big Show. By the way, I think it's going to be absolutely hilarious.
And it's only a 2-hour show.
Yeah, but it was going to be absolutely hilarious that all of a sudden, after all these years, SmackDown becomes the main show, regardless of what WWE says.
It kind of feels like it's been going that way for a while. There's been days where SmackDown is just so far ahead of where Raw is.
Yeah, always.
But yeah, that was Money in the Bank. Overall thoughts? John?
Besides the little hiccups, it was a decent show. I'll say that much. There was, a few duds here and there, but I actually did have some enjoyment with the match, some of the matches. So yeah.
Kev?
It was an average show. that was highlighted by a great feel-good moment in terms of the Bayley cash-in and an absolutely stellar match between two masters.
I think that's agreeable. It's an average pay-per-view with some really good highlights. I think that's a very good way to say it. At which point, it takes us to the scores on the doors. Out of 10, Mr. Kevin.
7.
Mr. John.
7.5.
I'm going to agree with Kev. I'll say it's a very good 7. Solid 7.
A lot there to like, folks.
There is a lot there to like. It's definitely if you've been holding off for
definitely across the board and whatnot. There was a lot to enjoy.
Yeah.
If you've been holding off for whatever reason, it's definitely a show to make time for, I think.
It's also a show that will leave you scratching your head and wondering what the hell WWE are thinking.
Yeah.
Even more than you already were doing because you're watching WWE.
Absolutely. At which point it's time to draw this to a close. We are probably going to be back next week with a show on AEW's Double or Nothing.
I'm looking forward to this.
I am
really very genuinely looking forward to
Granted,
this.
there has been a couple of things mixed, that's been causing issues, but it's looking promising.
It's going to be something for me because it's going to be the first non WWE product that I'm going to watch. So we'll see.
You technically had NXT, but that's still
that's a WWE product.
You've technically had TNA, and you technically had
yeah, but I haven't watched TNA.
Had Ring of Honor, and
I haven't watched Ring of Honor either.
Well, that's not their fault.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it kind of is.
It is. But yes, John, where can they find you on the social medias?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TurboXLR. You can also find me streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/TurboDrive Live every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. UK time.
Mr. Kevin.
You can find me on Twitter personally at the Kevin Eva. Alternatively, you can follow us as a group for Last Minute Kickout at Faces in Peril on Twitter. There are also a number of various accounts for YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and etc. for Last Minute Continue. Most of those involve around /Last Minute Continue or Last Minute Continue. Go to lastminutecontinue.com to details and also join our Discord server where you can talk wrestling with us.
Absolutely. And as always, I can be found at Titans Creed on Twitter for my main Twitter feed. You can find me on youtube.com/Project Phoenix Productions or on twitch.tv/Project Phoenix Productions. This has been Last Minute Kickout, talking about Money in the Bank 2019. Thank you very much for watching on the YouTubes or listening on all of the good podcast cashiers wherever you may find us. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, we bid you a fond adieu. Take care.